All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Speaking of Zane. Got a good crowd assembling here on the March 17th edition. This would be the 273rd edition of Speaking of Zane. How about that? We started way back in 2018. How about that? Well, let's see who we've got in here. Daryl's in there. Hey, Daryl, I hope you're feeling better, buddy. You've had a little bit of a bout there with some flu-like symptoms or something. I hope you're getting better there. You and Lori seem to have the same thing going on there. My cousin Toby's in there. Colin Krim is in there. Ken is in there, and my dad is in there. Hey, Dad. I saw you guys were busy today. You and Cody looked like you were putting a fence up. I've had a little fence, little chain link fence experience in my days. I'm wondering, did you guys do cement footings on that? I remember doing that, mixing the cement and all that stuff. All right, well, let's see here. Well, happy St. Patrick's Day for those of you that recognize that. I've got my green on today. It just happened to be the shirt I did my walk-in today. The Running to Honor 5K. You can see it's a little big on me. This is when I was still kind of plump, when I got this 2X or 3X, whatever it is, but I still wear it because it's very comfortable. Perspiration wicking material. But happy St. Patty's Day. All right, well, let's see. Had a good week at work. I had another week where I spent a couple of days in St. Louis. Flew up there on Thursday and had some meetings Thursday, also on Friday, and then stayed over Saturday. More about that in a minute. But got to meet some new veterans there. I'll talk about that. There, our company's full of veterans, and I'm stumbling on them all the time. But it was I had a couple of encounters in St. Louis this week. There's Matt Aaron. How you doing, buddy? I know you're going through a little bit of a health issue there. I hope Katie was telling us a little bit about it. I hope you're doing well. And I think we missed you last week or the week before. I can't remember. You had to work or something, but good to have you in there nonetheless. Well, let's see. Yeah. So the main reason I went to St. Louis this week is, well, I worked there, but I mentioned I'm also doing an honor flight. Me and three of my colleagues there, two Navy veterans and an Army veteran, and myself. We're going to be guardians for an upcoming honor flight. So we're going to be the guardians that are chaperoning some assigned veterans that have been assigned to us. So anyway, yesterday, Saturday, in St. Louis, Daryl will know where this is, Manchester, Missouri, a St. Louis suburb, not far from Maryland Heights, where my company is. But I rented a car, so I drove over to Manchester to St. Joseph Catholic Church, I think it was, Catholic Church and school. But that's where they were doing the honor flight orientation. So they had all the veterans there that are going on the flight. They had them all there. There's like 60 something of them. And then each of them have a guardian, of which I'm one. So that's 120 people. And then you have the flight leaders, and we've got a medical doctor, and we've got some paramedics, and just they have this whole thing figured out. They've done a couple of hundred of these flights, the St. Louis chapter. So that it is down to the T. But anyway, we had to do a little orientation on what it means to be a guardian, what we're responsible for, what we can expect throughout the day, what time we have to show up at the airport at 3:00 in the morning, and all of the agenda and the schedule and all of that stuff. It was great. So I did that. And the most important part of that is in addition to that training, we actually get to meet our veteran. And I did. I got to meet my veteran. Let me share a picture here in case you didn't see it. Let's see if I can share. and I'll show you. He's an Army veteran, Vietnam veteran. He's got cancer at the moment, unfortunately. Had cancer manifested itself in his leg, and then it metastasized, and he's got the cancer in his lungs now. Unfortunately, let me see if I can. There we go. There we go. You can see that now. I hope you can see that. That's Carl is his name, Carl. And anyway, we had a good time. I got a chance to spend maybe 45 minutes or so with him, and got to learn about him and everything. He's got cancer, but he's not on any meds or anything. He's in between these whatever his treatment regimen is. But on the in the orientation, one of the guidelines is to make sure that the veteran has 2 days worth of their medicines in case in case there's problems. We had to stay for 2 days. We're only going there. We're leaving early in the morning. We're coming back in the evening. But they've had occasions where there was weather or whatever, and they've had to stay over anyway. So one of the guidelines is the veteran has to bring 2 days worth of their medicine. And I asked him, I said, Carl, they told us about medicine. Do you have any medicine that you need to bring? He says, no, I'm not on any medicine. And I'm like, okay. He's a 75-year-old man. He's younger than my dad. But was real spry, and he's just dealing with the cancer. But he did tell me, he said, hey, listen, he says, I put on the form that for a good bit of the time I'd prefer to have the wheelchair. And we're going to have like 80 wheelchairs with us. We're going to have more than enough wheelchairs, they tell me. And I said, okay, yeah, that's no problem at all. I said, you just tell me, whenever we need to be, whenever you need to be in the wheelchair, you'll be in the wheelchair. There's wheelchairs at every stop. We've got them on the bus. We've got them at the airport. We've got them all over. I said, no problem at all. So he appreciated that. He says, yeah, he says, I get a little bit winded every now and then. And he says, I'm not going to take my cane with me. He says, because it's just going to get in the way. And I said, okay, that'd be fine. And anyway, his wife, Janet, was there. His wife's a bit younger than him. His wife's significantly younger than him. And she works at Washington University there in St. Louis. She's in the IT department, actually. But her name's Janet. But had met Janet and had a good chat with her. And anyway, he got a ball cap to wear. He's got a particular shirt to wear. I've got a particular shirt to wear. Everybody's color coded. The Guardians are in light blue. The Vietnam veterans are in green. The Korean War veterans are in red, I think. And then we have one World War II veteran, believe it or not. I forget the color. But everybody's color coded so that the flight leaders can, at a glance, kind of see where everybody's at. But anyway, it was great. We were there from about 10 a.m. till noon at St. Joseph Catholic Church there, and it was kind of cool to meet Carl. Oh, I do have a request. So Carl and Janet, they're not Missouri natives. In fact, they moved to the St. Louis area because it was the best place to treat the kind of cancer he has. So they've only been there for some number of years. Anyway, so they don't have any family around there. So the way they do these honor flights is when we come back from DC and we land in St. Louis, they make a big deal out of it at the airport, and friends and family are there, and banners and military members, and they make a really big deal out of the welcome back. And he doesn't have anybody coming to welcome him back. His wife will be there, Janet. The other thing that they do on these, Dad, I don't know if they did this with yours, but they have this thing called mail call. And somewhere along the way, I don't remember, it's on the way there or on the way back, they give them a bag full of mail. So basically cards that people have written to them, thank you cards and different things. And the family member is supposed to coordinate all that. Well, Janet hadn't coordinated all that. They don't have any friends and family. He says all, his family have all passed away and this, that, and the other. So he doesn't have any mail calls. So I'm going to get some mail call at work. I'm going to get some of my veteran colleagues at work and to do some thank you cards. But if any of you would like to write a card for Carl, um, that would be great. We've got until um, our flight is April 9th. So I think I have until the week before, that first week of April, to get them any mail for him. So if anybody wants to write a card to Carl, you can send it to me, and then I'll package it all up and I'll get it to the folks up there, and then that way Carl will have some mail to open, like all the rest of the guys there. But anyway, let me know if you want to do that, and I'll give you my address. But oh, nice shirt, Guy McDonald. That must be Aaron up in Michigan, is my guess. Yeah, this is the shirt I use. I walk in these Running to Honor 5K shirts. You can see, Aaron, this one's kind of big on me since I've dropped quite a bit of weight. But I love to wear it. I love the material. But good to have you in there. All right. Oh, good. Yeah, my nephew Cody is a captain. All right. I didn't realize that, Dad. Well, congratulations to Cody McDonald. He's my brother Terry's oldest son, and he's in the Tennessee National Guard, and been a lieutenant for a little bit now. He just did last year or the year before, he did a tour of duty down in Guantanamo Bay, and I think he's also gone to the border. But well, good. He's a captain now. Outstanding. He's a sharp young man. He's also an Eagle Scout. That tells you the kind of caliber young man he is. All right, Ken. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, let me know if anybody wants to send a card for Carl. His name is Carl. Then I would. Oh, Daryl. Oh, that'd be great, Daryl. I can get you signed up if you want to come and meet us. There's a protocol for it, but I can get you on the list. They're waiting. They don't have anybody, and there's room. Each of them can have 4 people meet them there. But if you want to come on the evening of the 9th, I can certainly get you on the list so that you can be there. Yeah, that would be great. Well, thank you for that, Daryl. Okay, well, let's see what else is going on here. So, oh, hey, Daryl, I was going to ask you a question. Oh, okay, Dad. Yeah, I couldn't. They told me, but I sometimes I don't pay attention. But they told us in the orientation when that would be. But that makes sense that it'll be on the flight back. But good. All right. Well, let's see. Daryl, I was going to ask you. Let me see if I can pull it up here. There is a friend of mine at work made me aware of this, and I wanted to see if you knew anything about it. Let me share it for you here. Maybe you and I can make a trip down there sometime when I'm in St. Louis. Let's see if I can find. There we go. Turns out that there's a Missouri's National Veterans Memorial, and it's got a replica of the Vietnam Wall. And you can see that it's in a little town called, I think it's called Perryville, Missouri, but it's between St. Louis and Cape Girardeau. So south of St. Louis. You can see it on the map there. But I'm wondering if you ever heard about it. I think it's a relatively new memorial there. But anyway, I'll put that on my list to visit sometime. It looks interesting. I figured you'd either know about it or know of it, or at least know where Perryville is. All right. Well, let's see. Oh man, last night was the final episode of Masters of the Air. It was the ninth episode. Wow, it did not disappoint. I think it was longer. I think it was twice the normal length. It was quite a lot. I didn't get back until last night, so I didn't even get started on watching it until maybe 10 o'clock. But anyway, it was the ninth episode. Turns out that there's a documentary, a more of a documentary about the Bloody Hundredth. It's called the Bloody Hundredth, and that's the unit, the 100th Bomb Group, that this Masters of the Air chronicles. Um, but I haven't started watching it yet, but it's available as well. It's called the Bloody Hundredth, I believe. But that'll be my next thing. I'm fascinated. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see. What was today? Sunday. So baseball. I did watch a little bit of baseball. Watched a little bit of the. There was a Yankees Red Sox game going, which was interesting because there was also a Braves Red Sox game. Did anybody know this? The Braves actually had two spring training games today going on at the same time. They played the Red Sox and they played Baltimore. The Red Sox game, they tied. They ended in a 3-3 tie. I think the Baltimore game, Baltimore won 8-2 or something like that. But anyway, so we're getting closer to the regular season. Well, let's see what else is going on. I didn't get an update. I don't know if Kelly's in here tonight, but my buddy Nathan down in Lakewood Ranch, south of Tampa, was supposed to meet Kelly, I think, yesterday, at the new My Warriors place in Punta Gorda to do a little site survey. I don't know if that happened yet or not. I didn't hear from Nathan. Today's his birthday, so I know he was celebrating. Speaking of coworkers, I've got one of my coworkers is an Army vet who lives in Tampa. He's actually the husband of one of my school teachers that works for me. Lori has met him. James is his name. James and Rhoda. James is going to be in town for work this week. I think I'm going to grab dinner with him maybe tomorrow night. Not too far from here. I think down in Kennesaw or Marietta. Not too far on this side of town anyway. Let's see. Hat of the week. My hat guy. This hat of the week. This has been my hat of the week several times. There's lots of reasons why it has been. It's the city of Savannah, the mighty 8th Air Force Museum down in Savannah. I've been affiliated with that museum for 12, 13 years now. We've restored B-17 called the City of Savannah, and met a lot of fantastic people in those 12, 13 years. And unfortunately, one of the original two that took on this project of the B-17, man called Jim Grismer, who also happens to be an Army vet. Jim spent an entire career, 30 plus years, as a New York City fireman, worked in the Trade Center. Anyway, passed away last year. And Friday, on his birthday, March the 15th, they had a service for him, and he's actually interred at the museum out there in one of the remembrance by the church there. If you've never been, I couldn't make it obviously because I had a commitment in St. Louis, but to honor Jim Grismer, whose daughter is a good friend of mine, Jane. Jane worked at the museum. But Jim and his buddy Jerry were the first two to take on this project in their retirement, and made a significant contribution. And what a great guy he was. And I think he was an 80-year-old man, 81 maybe. So in honor of Jim Grismer, they called him the Grizz. This is the hat of the week. All right. Well, let's see. Got a couple of this week in military history items. they are St. Patty's Day related. So March 17th, I did not know this. March 17th of 1756. 1756. This is before we were even a country, right? But St. Patrick's Day was first celebrated in New York City at the Crown and Thistle Tavern. Did anybody know that? Fun fact, I guess. Crown and Thistle Tavern. How about that? And another St. Patrick's Day related date, March 17th, 1762, the first parade honoring the Catholic feast day of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, is held by Irish soldiers who were serving in the British Army. How about that? Well, there you go. Now you know. This week in military history. Okay, well, let's see. Let me see. Let me just take a quick look here and see if we have any newcomers to the chat here. Veteran Cemetery Challenge. I know we had some cemetery visits this week. My dad and my sister put a really nice arrangement of flowers there. My mom's plot there is just so fantastic. I cannot wait to get down there. I keep saying that, and work keeps getting in the way. But my dad and my sister take such good care of it. It just looks so fantastic. And I know that they made some visits. Daryl made his customary visit to Jefferson Barracks. And I think today, Daryl to a cemetery in St. Louis called Calvary Cemetery. And then our good friend Amy and her sister Barb made a visit to Memorial Veteran Cemetery in Higginsville. Many of us have been to that one. I know Daryl's been there, Steve-O's been there, I've been there. Some others have been there, but Missouri Veteran Cemetery in Higginsville. And they also went to the Fort. I think this is a new one that I need to add to the map, I believe. I'm going to put an asterisk beside it because I don't recall this one. I don't know if Amy's in there or not, but she can tell me if this is maybe a new one for us. But Fort Gibson National Cemetery in Oklahoma. Fort Gibson. How about that? They also, while they were in Higginsville, they also visited the Confederate Memorial State Historic Site, which I don't know if it's near the cemetery, affiliated with the cemetery, or if it's its own thing, but there's a Confederate Memorial State Historic Site there in Higginsville in addition to the cemetery. How about that? So Amy and Barb are both retired from the military, and they have a little bit of freedom, and they do some traveling together. And you may recall that they surprised the heck out of me and Lori down in Punta Gorda, Florida, for the grand opening of the new My Warriors place last fall. It just shocked the heck out of us. But Amy, Barb, and Carrie. But I know they've been doing some traveling and just got back from a trip that included those locations. So if I add up the visits, I think we're at 7 visits for the week, takes us to 1,110. That's 1,110 more times than would have been maybe if we hadn't brought attention to it all these years ago. And so how about that? How about that? And I'm excited. I know on the honor flight, we will visit Arlington. I know we'll see the changing of the guard. Won't have probably the opportunity to range a little bit. I would love to see some folks that I served with who are there, and someone Zane served with that's there. But I've got to stay with my veteran. I've got to stay. I'm told I cannot move very far away. But one airman that I served with, Colonel Michael Anderson, who was killed on the shuttle Columbia, he is buried just outside of where they do the changing of the guard. So I might be able to see him again. Okay, so that's the Veteran Cemetery Challenge. Let's move on to the Think of Vet Challenge. I had a few this week, as I mentioned, in St. Louis. But I know Aunt Paula had an Air Force vet, and she also had a military policeman vet that she interacted with this week. Looks like Ken had a couple of thank yous yesterday. Okay, Vietnam vet and a firefighter. That's great. Awesome, Ken. So I'll add those two real quick. And if I add those two, that takes that up to that, and those two, that takes that to that. Okay, so Aunt Paula with the 2, Ken with the 2, and then I had some at work. So I had the two security guards at our front desk. Are both veterans. One of them's called Orville. He was Air Force, and then the other's called Trevon. He was Army. Had a good chat with both of them. They knew me. I didn't know them. They knew me because I lead our veterans ERG, and they see all my posts and everything. And anyway, I'm kind of a minor celebrity at work. Just kidding. But anyway, I met both of them, chatted, had a good chat with them. Met several Southwest airline pilots at the hotel right next door. That's the hotel that Southwest charters. But one of the guys was an Air Force pilot. Actually, he was an Air Force navigator on AC-130 gunships. So we had a little conversation about that. So that was my Air Force, Army. And then I met a guy called Richard, who once one of my engineers. Richard was in the Navy, lived in San Diego, or lived in St. Louis, moving back to San Diego. And then I met another Navy guy from San Diego, Ryan. And then, of course, I met Carl, my veteran for the honor flight. Oh, wow. So let's see. Who was that thanked a World War II vet? They are getting few and far between. They are most of them are 100 plus at this stage. I wonder if that's Amy, the World War II vet. Let me know in the chat there. Hey, Barb, how you doing, dear? Okay, great. That's great work the Legion does there. Oh, that's Aunt Paula. Hey, Aunt Paula. Okay. Wow, Aunt Paula, she is fantastic. So she has another World War II vet. What do you keep bumping into all these World War II vets, Aunt Paula? It's not your first one. So I'm updating my numbers here. All right. Well, Barb, thank you for that. That's fantastic. Was that with Barb? Was that for a member of that chapter, or was it a relative, or was it? Oh, it was a World War II vet. Okay. Wow. How about that? Very good. Well, thanks for sharing that, Barb. Yeah, I don't know if you were on. I was talking about you and Amy and your visit to Higginsville and to the cemetery in Oklahoma. And I was talking about how you guys surprised the heck out of this guy down in Florida last fall. And that was fantastic. Amy almost gave me a heart attack, but that's the way that goes. Chapter member, okay. All right, so if I add up all the thank yous, I think I've got 11 for the week. So 2,586. I need to get Lori to update our our sign up here. Our sign, we got it. Lori updated the banner when we hit the 2,000 mark. Now we're at the almost 2,600. So how about that? All righty. Awesome. Yeah, she jumped from behind the bush there as Lori and I were walking through the entryway there. And you know how you see somebody out of context and it doesn't make sense that they are there. It doesn't, you know, it's like, wait a minute, that your brain doesn't process that somebody's in that place at that moment. That was kind of the feeling that I had when I saw that skinny girl jump out. Oh my goodness. But wasn't that a great time? That was absolutely fantastic. It sure was. All right. Well, let's see. I think that's about it. I don't have really any updates on the organizations. I'm talking a lot about Honor Flight because that's what's coming up. But we do have the Running to Honor 5K coming up in July, end of July. So here's the deal. I think Aaron was in there. This may be the first. This may be a first for the Running to Honor 5K. I will be doing the Running to Honor 5K in London. In London, because Lori and I will be in London for work, like July, the end of July, in like 2 weeks, end of July into August. So I'm going to have to do the running. I'll be the international representative for the Running to Honor 5K this year. So how about that, Ron? Good stuff. Okay, let's see. I think that is it, gang. Last week we reported, the last couple of weeks we reported some aviation accidents that have taken some of our service members. Fortunately, there were not any this week, but I'll tell you, it continues to be a hazardous profession by definition in war, but preparing for it is a hazardous situation. And anyway, I pray for our military all the time. I hope you do too. And on Fridays, I wear red. And I've gotten a lot of folks at work doing that with you guys know the red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. You wear red on Friday. It's just one of those awareness crazy things. But anyway, I do that on Fridays. Everybody's come to expect that from me at work. And some of them have followed suit. So that's kind of fun. But fortunately, no accidents that I'm aware of over this past week, which is fantastic. But okay, well, it is so good to have you all in here tonight. I'm actually home for a few weeks and then back to St. Louis for the Honor Flight. And then what else have I got beyond that that'll take me, that I'll chronicle? Here's a big one. Here's a big one. Lori and I, in the month of April, we will celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary. I know we don't look that old. 40th wedding anniversary. Of all the places in the world, that we could go, guess where we're going to go? I'll pause for a minute and let you put in the chat. Of all the places that we could go in the world, and we could go anywhere we want, but guess where we're going? For about a week. I'll sit here and wait for some responses. See who gets closest. Of all the places on the globe that we could go, where are we going for our 40th wedding anniversary? All right, couple of good guesses there. My Warrior's Place is a good guess. It's wrong, but it's a good guess. Katie's got that guess. Matt's got that guess. Any other guesses? You guys know where we like to go, where we've gone? St. Louis is another good guess. It happens to be inaccurate, but it's a good guess. Any other guesses? Any other guesses? Of all the places we could go in the world for our anniversary, Scotland's another good guess. Scotland's a very good guess. Everybody knows Lori is enamored with Scotland. I think she would move there if she could. We may get up there on the trip, but that's not it. It's a good guess. Actually, Barb got it right. We're going to friggin' Omaha. We're going to Omaha. Lori calls it the scene of the crime. That's where it all started. Omaha. That's where we met. We're Fitzgerald. No, we're coming to Fitzgerald before then. Mark my words. We're coming to Fitzgerald, but it won't be for our wedding anniversary. But we are going to Omaha. Now, I've been back and forth to Omaha quite a bit over the years. Lori has not been back probably in 20 years. And unfortunately, her visit back was under terrible circumstances. Her best friend Sonia, it was for her funeral. Her friend Sonia, there in Nebraska, was killed. Fell off of a horse, actually, a riding accident. And anyway, that's the last time Lori was in Omaha. So I'm excited for Lori to see Omaha. She has not been there in 20 plus years. And of course, I was there last year about this time, I guess. When was it, Barb, for Roy's funeral? May, maybe, something like that. So it's been about a year since I was there last, but I love visiting Omaha. Absolutely love it. So I'll get home from St. Louis, I think on Thursday. Lori and I will fly up to Omaha on Friday, and be there for from Friday, I think, 9, 10, 11, 12, Friday the 12th, I believe, into the next Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. Oh, was it March, Barb? Okay, March. Yeah, because it was cold on that day. Yeah, it wasn't May, but it was March. You're right. Okay, so that's the exciting news that almost forgot to tell everybody. We're going to Omaha, so excited about that. Thought about driving, but I think we're going to fly. Thought about driving because I'm going to be in St. Louis right before that. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if we go to St. Louis, maybe I can just have Lori fly to St. Louis. We'll drive from St. Louis to Omaha. I don't know yet. We'll work it all out. But anyway, I'm excited for Lori to get back up there. It's been quite a while for her, so it'll be fun. All but one of our children were born there. So Tyler was born in England, and then Zane, Hannah, Charlotte, and Jackson were all born in Omaha. So Lori and I met there on the base in the barracks all those years ago. So and we're married there. So we were married at the K Park Chapel. You guys remember where that's at? The sort of A-frame looking thing over by Erling Bergquist Hospital. Anyway, all right, enough about that. Anyway, so maybe while we're there, we will see some of you. Maybe we'll have like a lunch gathering or something. We'll figure that out as we get closer. But I certainly would love to see some of you on our trip up there. All right, folks. Well, have a fantastic week. Look forward to seeing you all again next Sunday night for Speaking of Zane. And remember, they say a person dies twice. Once when they take their last breath, and then again when their name's no longer spoken. And that's why we do this whole thing, is to make sure that we say his name, we keep his name alive, we keep his memory alive for his children. I was talking to his son, Colton, this week. He's going to be 12. He's going to be 12 years old, I think, next week or the following. Next week, he'll be 12 years old. And just a fantastic boy. He's wrestling now. Anyway, I can't wait to tell him more and more about his dad. He has an awesome new dad, Will, who's in the Navy. But I don't want him to forget Zane. But anyway, great to have you all in here listening to me talk about Zane and other stuff, lots of other stuff. As you know, I'm apt to ramble a little bit, but thank you guys for putting up with that and for joining us every Sunday night. And we'll look forward to doing it again next Sunday night, right back here for Speaking of Zane. God bless everybody.